We're going to make this amazing, what I'm calling diamond fun fold card. Guess what? You don't need any dies to create the folds. Hi, and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I'm Lisa Curcio. In addition to the card I shared with you, I have several other samples. You're not going to want to miss the free project sheet. That's linked down in the video description for you below, which will lead you over to the pictures, cutting dimensions, and supplies. And I have a template for you. All right, we're ready. Let's get started. I'm using old olive cardstock for the base of my card. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half on the score line that I previously made. This is at 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to be using the beautiful Moonlight Flora Designer Series paper. Gorgeous, deep, regal prints, and of course, double-sided. One side being more generic, so you can use it all year round. This is going to get adhered here to the front of the card. We're just going to add some liquid glue around the outside perimeter. That will get attached here. I created this panel for the inside of the card that I did ahead of time, and I just used a scrap of the Designer Series paper. That's going to get adhered here. Now that the card base is all finished, let's work on the diamond portion. For what I'm calling the diamond layers, I have another piece of old olive cardstock. This measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this part is really simple because there's no waste. I'm going to put this in my trimmer at 2 1/8 of an inch. I'm using that ledge here across the top to make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to be using a pencil inside the cutting guide just so that I can mark it. Here at the bottom, I'm going to mark it right inside of there at 2 1/8 of an inch. You'll see the mark here at the bottom. We are now going to align the top right of the corner to the pencil mark here. That black strip is where the blade is going to travel. I'm pivoting the cardstock to make sure it's going to fall within that area. I'm going to use that dark blade for cutting, and we are going to slice. You're going to keep this. I'm going to turn the cardstock to make it easy for my hand. That is the 2 1/8 inch pencil mark, and this is the opposite corner at the top of the cardstock. Again, we're going to line it inside the track. Once it's in place, we'll go ahead and lock that, and then we are going to slice. We're going to keep all these pieces. Next, I have a piece of Designer Series paper that we're going to do similar to what we've just done, but this time we're going to line it up at the 2 inch mark here across the top. I'm going to close that guide, once again using my pencil to make a pencil mark here at the bottom. We're going to pivot this just like we've done before to make sure that the pencil mark and that top right corner are going to fall within the cutting track. Once you're satisfied, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slice. Save this, and we're going to turn it just like we did the cardstock. And we're going to do the exact same thing here. I'm aligning the top and the bottom, and again, we're going to slice. This is the large triangle for the front of the card. This is the Designer Series paper that we cut. This is going to get attached here. I'm going to use my reversible tweezers to extend my reach. I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. I'm going to add some liquid glue. Make sure you get glue down near the tip. This now will get adhered here. Now that we have this assembled, you'll recall that we had these 2 leftover pieces, and this is what we're going to work with next. The 2 Designer Series papers that we cut are going to go on top of here. Again, I'm going to use those reversible tweezers to extend my reach. Make sure that you get those corners because you want to make sure that they're tacked down really well. We're going to go ahead and do this for both of them. You should have a small margin of that cardstock layer underneath all the way around. Now that the layers are finished, let's come back here to the card base. We're going to take this triangle piece and we're going to adhere this here to the top of the front of the card base. We're going to flip this upside down. I want you to use dimensionals in the 2 top corners and 1 here near the bottom. I also want to make sure that you balance this well for mailing, so I'm going to fill in the other areas here. Once those dimensionals are on, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool with that paper piercing tool attachment, and I'll release those paper backings. Now with the dimensional backings removed, this is going to align to the very top fold of the card base. You're looking to make sure that the points are equal to the outside edge of the cardstock. This next step, you're going to take these panels that are here and you're going to flip-flop them, so that your widest angle is to be to the outside edges of your card base. I have tried numerous ways to attach these, and the way that I'm going to teach you is the easiest. I want you to start with one of them. It doesn't matter if it's the right or the left. I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive, and I'm going to place it right here in the center because I don't want it to be too sticky because I want to be able to lift it. You can mar it up using your fingers. The oils from your skin will break down the adhesive, or you can take it to your jeans. The little bit of lint on the back is going to help. I want this tip to be close to this edge, but I want you to see here as I align this that it's going to get narrower here. I also want to make sure that you have that tip within the card base, otherwise it's not going to fit in the envelope. Once you have that where you want it, press where we put that little bit of adhesive. We're going to take the other one now. We're going to put a little bit more adhesive on this one. I've marred it up just a little bit so it's not too sticky. Again, with the widest tip to the outside, we're going to do the same thing. I want this point to be as close to the top as it can be. But what we're looking for now when we put this one on, we want to make sure that we stay within the perimeter of the card base, but we're also looking to make sure that we've got about equal space here that's going to be aligned. That little bit of adhesive here is going to allow you to maneuver these two pieces to get it to look aesthetically like you want it. Don't let the pattern paper trick you. It plays with your eyes. So all I want you to do is try to measure up the center. Once you have the two pieces in place, I want you to push in the center where the adhesive is. That's going to stick the two diamond or the two elongated triangles together. And then all I want you to do is once they're affixed is give this a gentle twist. That's going to leave them still in the same position. We are now going to flip them upside down here on the silicone craft sheet. The first two dimensionals I want you to put to secure the two pieces together. So where they intersect is where I'm placing them. Down here and the outside corners, I want dimensionals as well. I want another one here at the very narrowest part that you can get it. And there's going to be another dimensional here and here. And then if you have other areas you need to fill in, you can do that. Here at the tips, I'm using some leftover mini dimensionals and I cut them in half while they're right here on the paper backing. That's going to make them a little bit smaller. So I'm picking up half and I'm going to work that here near the top. That's a very narrow area and I find that those little half pieces work well. If we take this and we're going to visually hold it where we want it, you're going to notice that these areas here on the outside are going to sag. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that upside down. We're going to remove those paper backings. I've got two more dimensionals and I'm going to place them right on top and then remove those backings as well. Coming back here to the card base, I'm putting my fingers here near the outside. I want you to align the top tips to the top corners. This is your time to maneuver this to make sure that the very bottom here is going to meet in the center and that your outside perimeters are not going to extend past the outside of the card. Once you're happy with it, go ahead and just press those in place. You'll be able to see that they're going to align to the outside edges and you have that amazing diamond point here at the bottom. Now it's just a matter of decorating it, and I have several other samples to share with you to give you some other ideas. Let's talk very quickly about that because I have those pieces done for you. This is the Fern and Flora Bundle, stamps and coordinating dies. They are debuting tomorrow on May 5th. The designer series paper is called Moonlight Flora and it coordinates with that amazing suite of products. I have a scrap piece of basic white cardstock here and I've pulled out the large fern stamp. You can see that the stamp is sizable. I'm using my black ink pad and I'm covering it up with ink. I'm using the stamp upside down because the image is sizable and I want to make sure I get a good impression. I went ahead and I colored the image using alcohol-based Stampin' Blends markers and used the coordinating die to die cut it. In addition to that, I die cut two black ferns from the dies. I used cardstock because the background here is black. I always allow the designer series paper to dictate the colors that I'm going to be using. What I recommend that you do first is you come up with the collage that you want to create. I love to work with my silicone craft sheet underneath me. It helps keep my cardstock from sliding on my work surface. Once I have my pieces arranged, it's a matter of just adhering them. But if you're like me, you come up with this great collage and you're wondering how you're going to pick them up individually and get them exactly in the same spot. And this is where press and seal comes into play. If you have press and seal, go grab a piece from the kitchen. You need it just a little bit larger than the area you're working on. Make sure the sticky sides are to the back. We are going to work right over this area, and I'm going to press those to the back of the sticky side of the press and seal. Push them down so that they'll stick well. Then all we have to do is carefully lift it and your collage is in place. We are going to flip this upside down. I'll take my liquid glue and the precision glue press, and I'm going to add glue to these outside areas. With my glue in place, I'm going to bring my card back to my silicone craft sheet, and I'm just going to maneuver this exactly where I want it. So you can see that I'm pivoting it. The little bit of glue here on the press and seal is not going to be a big deal. You're also going to see that I've got these ends here that are mismatched. So I'm not going to press too hard there. Press that in place so that the glue can stick to the cardstock. Once you're finished, all I want you to do is gently and slowly remove the press and seal. You're going to see that I'm working very carefully to make sure that everything stays in place. You can use this many times before you have to discard it. Here on the top, we're going to bend this back just a little bit because obviously some of those areas were hidden. My precision glue press is going to allow me to get into those little tight areas very, very well. And then we'll just place some glue there and then just seal this. Down here at the bottom, since they're misaligned, I'm going to lift this because I purposely did not put glue there. I'm going to come in with my scissors and I'm going to trim away that excess. Before you joined me, I used that exact same stamp set and I stamped the words on a scrap piece of basic white cardstock. I cut 2 opposite angles to match the angles on my cardstock. Since this is all flat, I'm going to take these and I'm going to flip this upside down. I'm going to add 2 dimensionals to the back side and I'll remove the paper backings. I designed this so that the greeting would go here near the bottom. I have one last thing. I want to add an embellishment. These are the Dewdrop embellishments. Clear, Old Olive, and Secret Sea. They coordinate with the Designer Series paper. They have glue dots already on the back, so I'm picking up one of them. I'm going to place that here. I've got 2 smaller ones. One I will place here, and the second one I'll place here on an angle. Give those a good push so they stick in place. And that card is all finished. The next best thing about this card is that you can open it and you still have a full-size insert to your card to do all your writing and signing. Now let me share with you those other cards that I made for you. Same Designer Series paper, same stamp set, but this time I used a white card base just to bring out the white in that dark paper. So pretty. Did very little coloring here, stamped on colored cardstock. And again, this time I just used a longer greeting with some of those beautiful new in-color butterflies that are coming out tomorrow as well. This last one is the exact same bundle of products as well. This time I did a little bit differently. Instead of using the simpler paper on the front, I tried reversing it, using the simpler paper for the back and letting that beautiful Designer Series paper come to the front. Now, in hindsight, I'm not sure I really love it. I don't hate it because I think some of these beautiful details are lost on the Designer Series paper. But I love giving you options so that you can choose. All the stamps, all the dies that I used for the die cut embellishments are all part of that same Fern and Flora bundle. As always, I would love to know your favorite. Pop down right now in the comments and let me know which one of those layouts and designs you like the best. And if you love to know about free shipping promotions and new products, and of course, continuing to be inspired, head over to my website at lisastampstudio.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and fill out that little form. That's going to sign you up for my free weekly e-newsletter. And if you love exclusive ideas not shared anywhere else, over on my website in the red menu bar under memberships, you can find all the details starting at $5 a month. There's lots of ways you can support me here at Lisa Stamp Studio, and I would love to connect with you. Reach out to me with any questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.